Hello.
Wow. So, Sasha, you stumbled upon some videos of some guy I shared on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And Ed Nero kind of fueled a fire in you. You saw a video of his talking to a feminist,
Yeah.
and you got kind of angry, right?
Yeah. Because he was just being really. He had terrible arguments, in my opinion, and he was just not being very nice, I guess. I didn't
So,
like his way, how he did it. No.
just to like recap, because people might not know this video, it's about standards for women and how they are represented in marketing. That mannequins are of different shapes, are not of different shapes and sizes, and only come in this one single solitary size. And um, there were the video will be like down in the description, like down below, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. So
It's from this Milo Jalopoulos,
yeah,
Yopolinis, or what's his name.
yeah. So you said that to you he was rude and his arguments were like really bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't like it. What he said, it was just offensive.
So could you bring examples of what offended you?
Well, he said that women are unhappy because they're fat, that they don't have relationships because they're fat, and that basically being fat means that you're unhealthy and that you should go to the gym. And he said so much more. He said that Tomb Raider, Lara Croft,
Mhm.
and she's a lesbianic icon, and
Could we just like take a minute, like for your first point, okay?
yeah.
Like where you said that he had said that fat women are unhappy, and women in general are unhappy, and that being fat and single makes you more miserable, and that is not generally false. I mean, it's it is like it is. I mean, if you are overweight, if you are unhealthy, you feel unhealthy, you feel bad. That's basically what he said, but that's not what he meant by it. What he actually said is that women after World War II, when all this new wave came in about people having dismantled the ideal for women, which is like if you go back in time, women were supposed to stay in the kitchen and be like the traditional role model, you know. And after
Yes.
World War II, then came all these different new waves and streams of feminism, and it's good, but at the same time, a lot of women, because they lost kind of the ideal to strive forward towards to, they every woman basically has a sort of identity problem, as well do the men, you know, because everyone nowadays has to position themselves not based on a role model, but against that. So that leads to such problems. But yeah, and this is what Milo said. This is what he was saying, that after World War II, women, because of not having any role models, because of not having any standards, as in beauty, you know, because of that, everyone was given the treat of, oh, you are special, you are perfect the way you are. Don't change anything around you. You are just wonderful. And the panelist opposing his argument was exactly one of these people. She said that she was a model and she knows that the industry is run by women and by gay men, and that the patriarchy is there like not so strong. But at the same time, she kind of contradicted her own arguments. She was saying that there are mannequins out there who have more, let's say, proportions that fit her better. You know,
Yeah, in a different country.
yeah, in a different country, right? It was in a different country. But the thing is, Milo then again said that the market is explicitly not targeting wider women. They are not targeting a fringe group, basically. You know, they are targeting people to make the clothes they want to sell look good, and on slim people, clothes look better. It doesn't mean that there are no bigger mannequins or that clothes for big people don't exist. It means that if you like what you see because it's represented in such a good way, you know, because you can like have like either three realistic, in quotes, like realistic body mannequins. I mean, the ones you see in shelves, they are realistic though. They are realistic. You can't describe each and every one. Otherwise, we would have like people coming up and say, "Well, I am in a wheelchair. There are no wheelchair mannequins. How do I know how the clothes will look on me?"
That's not the same.
Yeah, but it is. It is.
No. No, you don't put the clothes on the wheelchair. You put it on your body.
Yeah, but if people want to have a realistic representation in a shelf, like to see how the clothes will look on them, as Milo said it, they can always try it on. He's not discriminating. He's not saying that overweight people, that fat people should get no clothes at all and they should like go get fit and stuff. No, he is saying, and so does the feminist opposing him, that there are mannequins that are having like a bigger proportion in size. But both of them agree that basically, if you want to buy something, you can always try it on. If your size isn't in that shop, then well, free market, you know?
Yeah. I don't think that's the part what I don't think that it was bad. It was just that he said that women are when if a woman is fat, she's usually single and she wants everyone to accept her body,
Yes.
and that's not true. I think that's not true.
No,
And I don't like. Yes.
the statement itself is entirely correct. Now, here's the reason
So
for it.
you're saying that fat people are unhappy and they want to
No,
pull everyone in their misery?
I am saying that a portion, some people who are fat are single and feel bad because of it. Some people. That is exactly what
Yeah,
Milo's.
there are some people, but it doesn't mean that being fat equals unhappiness.
That is
It
not
doesn't.
that is not what he said. He said that women who are fat and single feel more depressed. And the same thing, just because he didn't explicitly state men and dolphins and giraffes and stuff, doesn't mean it doesn't apply to them. He was talking about women because the topic was about women. And to ignore that is basically cherry picking data. So if they were talking about men, of course he would have said the same thing. But he doesn't say it universally. He says it generally. Statistically speaking, the facts are out there that to which he referred are that women after World War II have struggled and lost their beauty standards, and because of dismantling them, which is kind of a good way, but it's done in such a harmful way that everyone basically gets to speak their own mind. And not only that, but the minorities get to dictate what everyone else does. So instead of saying that people who studied this should have a talk in it, now the narrative is people who are in the demographic should have to say how they feel. Can you see the problem with that?
Yeah, but I would like to know where he's getting these facts from. To be honest.
Honestly, I would also I would also like to know where he's getting these facts from. But even if they are like, let's take them at face value, okay? Let's take them at face value. If you are a woman and you are depressed, you are more likely to experience some sort of need for like food. I mean, like comfort food. That's why it exists. And it's not only for women. I mean, the topic was about women. That's why I'm referring to women, you know?
Hmm.
That's why he was referring to women. But for example, this Lara Croft thing, you know? The new model would be, according to feminists, would be that we have a realistic beauty standard proportion of not a video game character who has been specifically designed that way, but now this character has to be changed to be realistic. And realistic depends on the country you're looking for. For example, in America, obesity is kind of a big problem. So the average woman in America would not look like Lara Croft. This is what he was saying. The average woman, if Lara Croft were to be designed as a realistic beauty standard,
He said about Lara
yeah,
Croft that nobody wants to see that. That
yeah,
it's just
yes, because for humans, to see someone being overweight is
no. I mean the way she is now.
no, no. The way she's now is totally fine. That's not what he said. He said that if women who push for this kind of a narrative of your beauty, your body is beautiful, don't change everything, anything about you, you are perfect the way you are, would and scream for realistic body types, would basically apply this and say, well, Lara Croft is a woman, so let's make her realistic. Let's make her more fat, basically. That is what this says. And just think about it. If you have a partner who is obese, like really, really unhealthy fat, you know, like really unhealthy fat, you would not like, in most cases, to get in a relationship with him and have a child. You know, you know why? Because this person might die at some point earlier than if he were slim. So that means he would not be able to provide for a family. That
Being
would
slim does not mean being healthy.
being what?
Being slim does not mean being healthy.
It does. It does
No.
in comparison to being fat.
Actually, being a bit overweight is healthier than being underweight.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like really, really big people. Like,
And well, the woman, she wasn't talking about big women. She was talking about healthy bodies.
yes, and she was completely ignoring the fact that no matter how slim you are, you know, uh, these mannequins are still a realistic body type. They are still a realistic body type, and it's just like a selling practice.
Well, a
It's
600-pound mannequin is realistic too because they exist.
You see that? You see exactly this is the narrative these people go for. They exist, that means they have to be represented. You know, this is exactly the problem. If someone exists, let's say it's a black midget in a wheelchair with leukemia, that person exists. That means we have to represent him more than people who are just black, have just leukemia, are just in a wheelchair. You know, this is exactly the same narrative. It exists, therefore we have to push it. We have to regulate the market to have this in there. We have to jam it in. You know,
You know, I actually don't care about that. I really don't. I don't. That's actually not. I would. I mean, I'm for it that there's diversity, but I wouldn't be active on that. I wouldn't do anything for it because I actually don't care. I really don't care. The main problem is that I just didn't like what the guy was saying. He was just being an asshole in my opinion about it, saying that fat is bad, but there are
and
healthy fat people, but not really fat. I mean, just a bit overweight. I'm not talking about obese people. I'm talking about, yeah, just a bit, not um a drastic overweight person.
Hmm. Hmm. Being Having a body and having fat to it is healthy. That is something I can agree with you, and that's something that Milo would agree with you, and his counterpart on the panel as well. They would all agree on that part, that fat is good. The interesting part is how much of it is healthy and how much of it is good, because to say that a slim person who exercises regularly, who does not have any higher risk of having cardiovascular diseases or like dying of a stroke, that person is healthier, medically speaking, than someone who is fatter than that person. And just because you work out still doesn't protect you from death. It just depends on how quick or how the quality of your lifestyle will be. If you want to have mannequins that look like a realistic body shape, you have your own body shape. This is realistic. You have your own body. You can go into a shop. You can ignore the mannequins if you don't like them. Ignore them. Why explicitly change it? This is not a time of segregation. People are not cutting other people off because they are the minority or because they look different or speak different. It's diversity that has to be earned. The problem is with segregation is that diversity already existed, but people by arbitrary things were cutting other people off, like skin color, like the melanin in your skin means that you are a lesser being than someone with a different melanin concentration. Like this is this is basically a problem because no matter how hard you would work for it to get accepted and be integrated into society, segregation would always mean that you, because you exist and how you exist, you can't change it. That would mean that you get out, like withheld from society. But now everyone, literally everyone, can say what they want to say. Diversity has to be earned, not just like being handed out to people. Because seriously, if people can't think of the process, okay? If you give a microphone and a stage for a 13-year-old person who is definitely not the smartest of all people, just some random 13-year-old dude. Let's say it's that black midget with leukemia in a wheelchair. Let's say that, all right? Right? If you give a speaking panel to that person and give him power to basically move other people around and tell them how he sees things and how things should be in his opinion, you are creating something that is going to harm the society more than if that person was not on the platform. It sounds harsh what I mean, but actually it's evolution in societal context. If you have something to say, then you can say it. No one will judge you for what you say just because on how you look. People always go out and be like, "Well, you are white. You don't know the problems of a black person." No, if I study it, if I scientifically collect data, if I evaluate it, I come up with solutions, then my opinion is valuable over the opinion of someone who didn't do the science but is just black. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So diversity shouldn't come from a place where it's enforced. Diversity
Mm.
already exists. Diversity already exists. It's all about choice. You have the choice to study. You have the choice to use the internet not to spread hate and mean comments, but to learn things. Not to blindly follow, but to think for yourself. And saying that diversity is what matters is like segregation, but in the other direction. You would say that let's be total racists here and say, well, this person is like anti-racist. I guess it's not racist if you don't discriminate the person, but put it on a pedestal. You would glorify people of certain ethnicity, of certain looks, of certain behavior, instead of like getting them through the process that everyone who is currently like making big speeches, has to go through. And that being that people criticize you, that people will say things that are not always correct from on their side, and if you put on people who are so easily offended that if people criticize them, they just lash out and want to like destroy other people criticizing them. You created a big problem instead of solving one. So diversity should come from each and every person. If you want to be represented in society, learn it, do it. No one is prohibiting you from it. No one is like, no, you are black, you don't get in here. No, you don't. We're at the point where the situation just turned around.
But
Now,
there are still people who are like that.
hmm?
There are still people who are like that.
Of course they are. Yes, but now we have a radical left where people are talking about trans or intersectionality. Have you heard of it?
Just no, I have not.
Well, intersectionality is, I think, something that came out from gender studies, and it's proposing the idea that saying that women and white women and black women have different problems. They have completely different problems because it's a woman but it's white, or a woman and she's black. No, intersectionality just means let's slam different things together that that people like hate and discriminate against. Some people, not all people. You know
Is
what
it
I mean?
that with the white feminism thing?
Yeah. For
It's
example.
yeah, I saw a video from that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mostly, a good example would be to look at the transsexual community. I've seen a video and I talked to a bunch of people who know the transsexual community and who just wanted being straight and not being transsexual to just understand and debate what transsexuals were saying about transsexuality, because they studied and they looked up transsexuality. They know all the nitty gritty stuff in there. They just like they looked it up. They learned about it. And these people who are all about diversity and inclusivity, and just come on, give me a group hug. Come on, they were so discriminating against these people. They were telling them basically that they do not know how it feels to be a transsexual, therefore, they have no right to have an opinion on it. They were basically segregated from a topic that they may have really had like interest in because they are not transsexual.
Um, I think that it is hard for someone to really, really understand a person if you're not in their situation, and I think it's just different. You can't gather a bunch of information and then you think you know how the person feels. It's not that easy, really. So I get them.
It's not about understanding. Here's the difference is it's not about understanding how the individual feels. It's about collecting data of thousands, hundreds of thousands of individuals, looking at the data and then analyzing that data, coming up with a solution. It's not about helping each and every single one. You know, the platform to achieve big things is there. It's called capitalism. You can use it to benefit yourself and benefit society. But if everything you do relies on the narrative of, I am a human being, I have a body, I deserve this and this and this and this because I am this and this and this and this, and I was born with it, you are pushing a narrative of, I am special, I am a special snowflake. Give me things I haven't worked for. You know, that is what I mean. You can understand the motives behind a lot of things. You don't have to understand the individual for it. You see? But you wouldn't like decline someone who is not. Let's take it. Let's say you were transsexual and in the transsexual community, and someone would come up to you and say, "Well, I think transsexuals have a lot like to do with blah 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 blah." Something that is true, something that has been proven. I don't have a good example for this, but just from your side, would you discredit this person from talking about a problem that is clearly about transsexuals because he is not a transsexual?
Um, he can participate to a degree, but I don't know what kind of degree. But I would actually say no. I mean, he can be a part of a. It depends on what he has to say. It is hard, but
How,
actually, no. I don't think he can be because he's gathering information from a bunch of people, and then he's just summing it up to a conclusion. But really, everyone is different,
but you
and
know,
and he's not in a position to judge people.
but
I
it's
think.
but why is he not in a position to judge people if he studied people? He learned about them, like it's like when you learn about a culture, you know, you study that culture, you figure out how things go, and you look at it from different angles, and the more knowledge you have, at a certain point you would probably be more knowledgeable than the people in the community on average are. It's like if I personally like I'm Russian, right? And but my Russian is on such to such a degree, on such a level that the average person, even in the town in the town I am from, St. Petersburg, even the average person from there would be dumber than me. You see the problem here.
Every average person would be dumber than you.
No, not every average person would be dumber than me. My Russian, because I studied it so extensively, the Russian culture, the Russian literature is so much bigger than on average of the people that live in the town where I'm from. That's what I mean.
But you didn't live in it really.
Yes, I did. I did. I lived in Russia for from like my birthday on 22nd June 1994 up to 2000, and then like every year I'm traveling there. So yeah, I can say that I live there. Yes, I'm pretty positive. Even if not, let's take someone like Noe for example. Let's take him for example. He is not Japanese, but if he studies hard enough and well enough in Japan and Japanese in general. It doesn't even have to be like in Japan itself. Just studying it makes him qualified to talk about Japanese issues. It's not about the individual. It's not about representing each and every single person. You know how in Congress there are people saying that, well, we have we have not, we don't have enough women represented in there. You know that? Like there are people
Mm,
who actually go out and say that we need more people representing as representatives because like we need more women in general to represent stuff.
yeah.
Uh, no, we don't. Representatives represent not themselves but the people who voted for them. It's not about gender. It's about opinions. You see, if we want to talk about gender, if we want to talk about sexuality, if we want to talk about body types, then inevitably we are not talking about the big picture here. We are talking about a smaller one. We're talking about people with this factor being like influenced because they are like they are, and such discussions, I don't know if they are viable, really. Talking about how women are treated differently to men and saying that it's the patriarchy is just nonsense to me. You know, women get into STEM fields. I don't see women pushing for a quota in, let's say, sanitary places. or working in the sewer. I don't see that. Do you see that? Garbage collectors, women going
Who
out and
wants to do
strike.
that?
Yeah,
Who
you
wants to do
see,
that job?
exactly that, exactly that. That is my
But
argument.
yeah, I guess I've never seen a female garbage lady.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah, but I agree on that. They should.
Most women who study some crazy ass dumb stuff that does not give you a good job later on still want to have a good job, and that's why they push for for feminist quotas in big and high paid places. This is basically not equality, this is just
Yeah.
enforcing their own opinion and
Yeah, I
agenda
don't agree with that. I
in
mean, I don't
a
support
free
that.
society. There are women in high boss positions. There are women who have founded great institutions, universities, schools, hospitals. There are women out there who do that. But to these women, you can't go up and say they got this because they are a woman, because, look, feminism. No, they earned it. They earned it because society is not as patriarchal as feminists paint it to be. It's not as sexist as feminists paint it to be. If you want something, work for it. You live in a time where nothing is holding you back except for your own held beliefs. It's not like someone from outside is pushing you down. No, like seriously, everyone once in a while encounters bad people, like people who say occasionally bad stuff, you know? But it's your own decision if you want to like get back into your hug box where you just say your opinion and everyone is like eating it up and is praising you. You can do that. You can do that. But then going out and saying and advocating for diversity is not really going to work out because that would mean that someone would have the guts to stay and get criticized, you know.
Hmm.
It's exactly how it is in gaming, for example. Feminist narrative in gaming, that's partly what hashtag gamergate is for, is about women pushing for women in video games, for realistic body standards in video games. It's not about artistic expression. It's about women who want to see themselves in a game and then they cry about it. This is it. This is it. You know, like they think they are on a higher moral ground because of some problem they set themselves in their tiny heads. See?
Yeah.
So diversity is there. And I would ask you if you still think that you can't understand a person or people in general based on let's say extensive studying of these people.
I maybe take it back. Maybe you can if you really, really get into that topic.
Hmm.
But I still need time to think this all
Hmm.
100% through because I can't come
Let,
to a. That's yeah.
let me give you an example, like a different topic example of this. Let's see and try to imagine where the world would be if Isaac Newton didn't test out his theories, or if Einstein didn't out his theories, because, well, it's just one example that means nothing. It's not science. You see what I mean? If people were like, well, we have this material and this material has atoms, we can't just take this and what we know about atoms in this material and apply it to a different material which also has atoms because these are different atoms. They work differently. We can't apply the same mechanisms. You see,
Are you comparing atoms to people?
yes, I'm comparing atoms to people. Yes. We can't no, I'm comparing materials to people. We can't compare this material to another material. They are completely different. It's like comparing an alien, something foreign, to a human being. That would be hard to compare, but I mean, you can even compare apples and oranges. You can say that they are not so different as it seems because both are fruit and both grow on trees, both have sugar in it and dextrose, and both are healthy and both are basically fruits. You have just compared apples to oranges. So that way, if you know something extensively about apples, you can refer to oranges when you see one. You know how apples look like. Then you see an orange, and you're like, this looks comparable to an apple, like this and this and that. But then it has like different properties. But
People are far more complex. I
not
don't.
not if you make them so complex. If you make them so complex, of course. But then again, I'm back to my example about different materials and atoms. You would have to start from scratch. You would have to like instead of upgrading something, you would have to destroy what you found out about the thing you found out like you studied previously, destroy the entire material and start from scratch from the start. You would just if the world were as you describe it, then the scientific method and the teaching method would both be completely bad. They would just be horrible because our world wouldn't be would not have any things to rely on. It would constantly change, and everyone like there wouldn't be any books around because this is just how people saw the world then. We can't rely on it. Then the Bible would be completely out of touch in like the next 2 days after it's been written. Because no, 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 this is how the people saw it back then. Like, this is yesterday. This is yesterday. This is not us. We see it differently. See, this is exactly my point. If you say that, and not you explicitly, a lot of people do that, say that you can't understand someone because they are an individual, well, then you yourself can't understand anyone, not even yourself. Because to understand yourself means to look at society, see how things are going there, and then compare it to your own like moral compass inside. But you couldn't do that, right? But you can. That means it is comparable. That means people can be compared, and that means that you can understand people if you just compare them well enough. You know, if you have different factors that go in there. Of course, people are more complex than apples and oranges, but they are not infinitely complex. People are not infinitely complex. Like you and I, we have a friendship. Friendships are made with differences, but similarities as well. If we were so complex and so different from one another, there would be no friendship at all. People would not even know what that is because they can't empathize. They can't look at people and go, well, I have been in that problem, in that situation. I think I know how you feel. You see, like
Well,
it's so
I can't fully understand how you feel. I could never.
then this
How
is a
you
different
feel
topic.
like with your parents. I can't understand it completely
And
because I'm not in your situation.
then this information, this experiment you would want to do itself is useless. You already came to the conclusion that you can't understand me. But what you can do is compare my words to your experiences, and from that, say what you would do and tell it to me. That way, that's how it goes. Basically, someone tells you a situation, or you experience something. More generally speaking, you experience something, then you emphasize with the person something happened to, and then you go out and think how you would react in that situation. It's not about being exactly as I am, because people themselves, each individual, is not fixed. Your face, your voice, your character, it all changes. It's fluent, you know. And you can't just completely understand someone. That is true. But Milo in that video was not striving to understand each and every single individual. The feminist opposing him was. She was saying, no, 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 we have to have diversity everywhere, 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 just everywhere. Ignore if people worked for it or how the quality.
Everywhere she was just talking about mannequins.
Trust me, it's everywhere. Trust me.
But she was just talking about mannequins.
Okay, yeah, she was talking about mannequins in that specific example. Yes, I give you that. But trust me, if people were to get what they want, if this kind of person would have gotten what she wanted, it wouldn't stop at mannequins. It wouldn't stop at mannequins. The next thing would be to go out and say, well, I demand that my representative is of a specific color, of a specific gender. I don't care if the person fucks up. I don't care if the person is a hobo. I want this person to represent me because this is diversity. God damn it.
No, that's something else. How should you earn a spot in for bigger mannequins? That's just it's not comparable with I don't know women being more represented
Uh,
in
uh,
other in manly, let's say manly jobs.
Okay, well, you got me there. Like, how how could a mannequin apply to be a bigger mannequin? And it's exactly that. You just played basically into my hand, saying that the only people who can strive for better representation of mannequins are mannequins themselves. We can't understand mannequins. We
What the?
can't understand them. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe this mannequin has a mannequin family and a mannequin baby. Why should we push him to be in a storefront? Maybe it's his decision,
The
huh?
mannequin is not a person, Dennis.
Yeah,
It doesn't have a
but
feeling.
we can compare people to mannequins on like terms of body standards. No, you see, you see what I did there?
Yeah, but no. Wait, mannequins are the purpose of a mannequin is to it's actually yeah it's for marketing. If you have a larger model, mannequin model, you would appeal to if there were more diversity, you would appeal to more people, more types of people,
No, it wouldn't.
wouldn't it? It would, of course. Bigger models to see, that's a bigger model like me, so it kind of looks good,
No,
I
no,
guess. I
it
don't
would
know.
it would appear to a specific kind of person, a specific group of people, not a more general one. You would harm more with this policy if you were to implement it, than help, than like to like improve stuff. uh, Next, people could push for shelves to be changed because the stuff is way too high up, and it's like it's for men because men are so tall. No, but I am really small. I need this down there. So yeah, I'm gonna use this mannequin situation and just push for equality and for diversity. So just make
Well,
everything small
for
blue.
little people, it would be a problem. Or for handicapped people,
No, they
people in
can.
wheelchairs.
Yeah, but like handicap accessibility is being done. It's implemented. What people from there seem to like have gone off is to say and dictate how the market should function, how the free market should function. That oh no, I will tell a shop owner how the shop he owns has to look like because I am offended. I will tell the game developer how his game should look like because I am offended.
That's not my opinion. I think everyone should just. I mean, the store's owners, they should do whatever they want with their store. I don't think that
Then
it
you
should be. I'm just.
then you
What
are on the
upset
side
me
of
is just
Milo.
what the person said.
You are on the side of Milo because that is exactly what he was
Yeah, but
saying.
I just don't like what some stuff that he says that being fat is bad and unhealthy and
No,
yeah and
he was saying in the video, he was saying that after World War II, because of the dismantling of a female role model, women, more generally speaking, not universally speaking. Universally speaking, yes, everyone is individual, but generally speaking, he was not talking about a specific woman like you are like that. These two
but
women, yeah,
back in the day the women were actually more how to curvier, I guess. It used to be more preferred. So
It depends on the society
what
you look
was
at.
the role model back then?
The role model back then was that it's basically like having in media and in advertisements all these niches where people and women and men in general, people could put themselves in, like the traditional model of a family, that the mother is cooking and the mother is preparing and the mother is helping at home and teaching the children as the man is going out and providing for the family. It's a good system. This is the system that has been advertised in the 60s and 70s in America, and this is the part later on where what feminists started to do is just dismantle this. And first wave and second wave feminism are fine, I guess, because seriously, people in like the 20th century, there was a disease made up called hysteria. And hysteria was such a broad
Yeah.
term. If you had a stroke, you could be classified with hysteria, and you would have to go to a hospital to see a doctor. And that doctor would either prescribe you morphine, like seriously morphine, just in a bottle, just take this, or he would
Mhm.
actually make appointments with you to just molest you and rape you, basically, because that was people really thought of that as science.
All right.
Yeah,
I heard, yeah.
and that was considered, well, hysteria. It's the lust of the woman that has to come out as screams and as violence and as strokes. But a lot of women who fell into that category falsely were mostly women who had, I don't know, schizophrenia or paranoia or just depression, and raping these women didn't make it better. So yeah.
You consider it as rape?
Yeah, because the doctors were like, no, 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 you need this. You need this. And the woman was like, no, I don't. I don't want this. And the doctor was like, aha, you see, that is the um things, the sickness coming. That's the sickness talking. You think you don't need it, but you need it. So let me just take you against your will and do things against your will to you.
Really?
Hysteria,
I just saw a movie and it was portrayed differently in there, but it was yeah, I don't have any information on that
basically.
subject.
So Um, that was the time when the things were like kind of sucky for a lot of people. But in general,
But
later
they were
on,
happier, you say.
yes, they were happier despite these
But they
atrocities.
have hysteria.
No, ignore that hysteria part. That is just an example of how people treated other people based on pseudo facts and pseudoscience. This is now considered a crime to do that. So yeah. But nowadays, the classic role model of women being discriminated against, and women having basically what feminists wanted to do is take away the strength of ad campaigns saying that, well, is your wife at home, is she doing all the kitchen stuff, like look at this kitchen stuff, this is for clearly only for women, look at this car stuff, it's clearly only for men, look at this is only for children boys, and this is only for children girls. This is what feminism in a way fought against, but at the same time, taking away these ideals just made women realize that, well, they don't have a standard anymore. This is basically what they wanted, right? They wanted to have no standard at all dictated to them so they can have their own standard. But now again, they are gravitating towards having a standard. They want to have standard and realistic proportions on everything. That means this is basically what they want to have back. They want to have the same thing that they threw away, but in a more uh, realistic way, adapted to the time now. And I guarantee you, in the future, there will be like a wave of feminism where women have changed again, and maybe it will relapse back to the beauty standard that we have right now. Maybe in the future people will be like, if now we have the bigger body realistic standard for some time, let's say 100 years, 100 years later from that, there will be like, no, we don't want that anymore, that is not realistic, it's not good, no, change it back. You see?
But the woman wasn't saying that only the bigger mannequins should be represented in all kinds. So that would never happen. That only that kind type of body type would be represented.
Yeah, but it's still a representation of a body type. If it were really, as she is saying, that it's all right not to have any role models, it's fine to not have that. This is what feminism has been fighting against, as far as I'm concerned, to get rid of gender stereotypes. And gender stereotypes are basically summed up and represented as these models, for example. But getting rid of them and still wanting to have some kind of a role model is just proving my point, and the point Milo was making, that after World War II, when there was just no role models at all for women, they were miserable, and now still some women are, because they don't have anything to gravitate towards. Because what they are looking at are, for example, like slimmer models. They think to themselves that this is unrealistic, because society of feminists tells them that this is unrealistic and that they should love their bodies. But therein lies a big problem, since there are good arguments to be made to have gender stereotypes. It's a reason why the standard classic family of man and woman was created and done, because of wars, because of we need a system where everyone has their delegated things and actions they do. Like, no one was talking about that men are superior to women. Men did have at some point in history more rights than women, but now we are all equal. Women are as equal as men. But now feminists, because there is nothing to fight for. There is nothing to fight for. Do you see the difference between feminism in the 30s and the 40s, where women went out on the street against prohibition because, like, their men were completely stone smashed and drunk and problematic to handle. They were beating them, abusing them. You see that part where this was the original face of feminism, where women stood up for the rights of women to be in court, to sue their own husbands, to divorce them. This is a right that women have now. Third wave feminism right now is about mannequins, about body proportions, about realistic beauty standards and video games. It's all a bunch of first world problems.
Yeah, I don't see them as a big problem
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
It's
and
actually really stupid to discuss
yeah,
about a topic like that.
yes, we are.
Because really, who cares? Because I really don't care, actually. I never thought of it. I just watched that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it is silly, yes.
It is entirely dumb, and Milo is not taking the entire topic so serious. In fact, he is rarely talking about the mannequins themselves. You know, he sure mentions them because, like, this is the topic of it. But what he's saying is that women, as a statistical figure, as something that can be observed over decades, have gone down in terms of happiness. And the reason for that is because of not having a role model. And going out and saying that, no, role models have to be diverse and everyone should be represented, is just adding to the problem. It's not solving it. It's just at least, like, at best, it's
But
just delaying
they
it.
kind of do have a role model. It is that you can be whoever you want to be. And
Yeah, but that's not a role model, though.
of course it is. That
Yeah,
you're limitless. You can do whatever you want.
yeah,
That
but
is a role model.
if you raise people with the idea of then them being limitless, it would backlash on them, because you wouldn't tell them all the bad things in the world. You wouldn't tell them how it feels, because this is also limitless. how it feels to be called a nigger or a Jew or a filthy Jew or a redskin or uh, any of these other slurs. You know, people seriously consider clapping as something patriarchal, as something that could trigger people, trigger anxiety in people. And they,
Clapping?
yeah, clapping, just applauding is bad. Just
I don't understand that.
because it triggers, it's not because it triggers. It's not like 100%. No. It's because in some cases, some people sometimes maybe could be triggered. And because of these little fringe group minority bitches who cry about everything, everyone else has to stop doing it. Just stop. Just don't clap because maybe someday someone could cry about it. This is exactly what diversity would give us. Exactly that. It would be a fascist place to be at because it's not about diversity, it's about putting minorities up front. It's just about putting them, just because they are minorities, up front. You see, the feminist movement has been going on for so long and for so hard that now it's reasonable to have men's rights advocates. Something that wouldn't be possible if there were no third wave feminism. If there were no people saying, no, this is sexist, this is not good for women, I am a woman, I'm offended. If these people wouldn't be there, then men's rights activists would have no place to be either. But since we are on the scale of ridiculous, men's rights activists sure makes sense. Men get assaulted more, raped more, killed more than women do. Men should earn. That's also like a point that Milo said. Men should earn more than women because they work in harder, more tedious, more dangerous jobs more of the time than women do. And how about we implement a quota for men, for example? How about we implement a quota for men who want to be in nursing homes? There is no such quota. There should be. If feminism is about equality, let's have that.
Yeah, I agree on that.
But it's not there. That means that the only thing that feminists want is to have, to a certain degree, every feminist has the idea of a patriarchy in their head. There are some who would say, well, the patriarchy is raping me, and if someone is talking to me not nice, this is rape. And I feel raped because someone said that I am dumb. And please don't say that, it triggers me. I'm gonna go to my hug box, and then like insult other people. This is one type of feminism. Like this is basically third wave feminism in a nutshell. They don't care about diversity. They care about their own agenda. They don't realize that they have everything they need. This woman sitting there having a host being a woman sitting there talking about mannequins does not realize that women are allowed in front of a camera on national television, and that is a right that feminists have done, and she is using that right to just boast off against mannequins and realistic body proportions that no one, literally no one, except for third wave feminists and white knights, those are considered, or like manginas, that's basically men who advocate for feminism, like third wave feminism. Um, think about. I mean, do you really wake up thinking about, well, I have nothing better to do.
I know.
Let's whine about this. Let's whine about that.
I know.
Let's
That's
make
what I sometimes think, yeah.
let's make intersectionality a thing. Let's think not about the transsexuals, but about the black transsexuals and how they're different from the white and the red and the blue and the green ones. Huh. Oh my God, the black ones, they are still getting oppressed. Oh no, what should we do? Oh no, there is a white transsexual male. He has no opinion on this because I am talking about black transsexuals. Oh my God, there is a black transsexual and he is a heroin addict. Oh wow, his opinion matters so much to me. Please write a book. I will pay you lots of monies. See, this is where we're going with diversity.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what diversity means. It's a nice, pretty word, but in terms of society, diversity is already there. Everyone has the same right. No one's being discriminated or segregated. I mean, sure, I don't know how it must feel like to be having to sit in a bus, like behind, like in like the really far down the bus, like in the last row. I don't know that. I don't know how it feels like to have a star on your jacket, so the militia can easily identify you as a Jew, and if something happens, blame you for it and take you with you or just kill you. I don't know how that feels, but I can emphasize with it, and I get a picture on how it must feel, because seriously, you have to be pretty fucked up to think that it would feel okay to get like segregated and discriminated and hated on. But this is exactly that. The narrative of feminism needs a boogeyman. And the boogeyman in the third wave feminism are all these unrealistic body standards, all this climate control, this AC that's apparently sexist. I told you about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
Exactly. How the poor women in poor New York don't get in summer to walk around in dresses because the
That
climate
was really
control is
ridiculous.
too cold and they freeze. They freeze so much at their desk jobs where they don't have to die or suffer or like bleed out. No, it's too cold sitting there and they have to take like Starbucks with them, but no, it gets too cold too fast. Oh no, the patriarchy. Ah, help me. Eh. You see that
It's
is
really
third wave feminism.
ridiculous.
If
Yes.
if feminists were so much in for the rights of women, they would go out for equality, basically, not for the rights of women. Feminism is the movement for women's rights, but women have all the same rights as men do. Now they want more than men. They want quotas. That is, if a man was like going up and saying, "Well, I'm a man. I'm a man. I was born a man, and I want a quota for this part." A lot of people would think that's ridiculous. Like, you're a man.
Mm.
What do you need a quota for? You're everywhere. You could be. Why do you need a quota for? You see, exactly that. Exactly that. People
Yeah.
would be saying, no, 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 you're a man, you don't get a quota. Women need a quota. And because women get a quota, they create an inequality in the system. They create quotas. That means men deserve quotas as well in female dominated places. That's it. If they want equality, sure, but they don't want equality. They want to be higher than men because they think there is literally no proof of men and women having, for example, this pay gap. The numbers are there, sure, but women decide, they choose to work less. They decide to go home and to be with the
And
kids.
should have maternity leave or something like that.
Yeah, they decide that,
And
but maternal leave, maternal leave itself is okay. Yeah, sure, fine. Why not? Then give the same thing to men. Men don't get maternal leave or paternal leave. They don't get that. No, they don't. No,
well,
maternal.
but I guess the women they don't choose to. I mean, they do choose, but they need to be pregnant. That's how I guess. Yeah, they need to be pregnant, and men, and that's why women need more money. Also, I guess actually,
No, women don't
kinda.
need more money. You see, you are making the point that a woman, because she's a woman, needs more money. She
No,
didn't work for it.
because she. I mean, when she's on leave, that she needs money. Not
Well,
really
then
when she's
she will
working.
get, well, then she will get support either through family, that's why this is still a thing, family, or through the husband who made her this wonderful child, either by suing him or by living with him and he is going out to work. But then the money shouldn't be paid for the women, for the woman, because she's a mother now, but to the man because he's providing for that woman and for his family because he's actually working. Otherwise, the business would just throw up money for people who just decided to have babies, you know? And
So when the woman is on leave and the man is working, he should get the money.
yeah, yeah, yes, yes, because he is working. The woman isn't working. She's not working for the company. Why should the company pay her? Because she decided to have a child?
Well, if everyone says they shouldn't have a child, then we wouldn't be here anymore.
No, but that's exactly what I mean. Women, feminists, I mean, take the this fact that women decide to have to go home more often. Women are better at nurturing, and men are better at rationalizing. Men are in general on like hundreds of thousands of men and hundreds of thousands of women. It's clear that biologically speaking, men are better at rationalizing and women are better at emphasizing. That's why the classic standard family model exists and it works fine. It worked fine until people came along and said, no, no, no. Why do feminists push so hard for women in all these different fields? Why do they want quotas in there? If they want, they can just work for it and then get in there, can't they? I mean, have you actually like applied for whatever you want to do, and then some guy wrote you back, "No, no, you're a woman. Go home." No,
No, no one would ever do that, but they would give other reasons.
so now you're saying that they would cover up their misogyny, like the
I'm not
hate of
saying that
women.
they all. I don't know. They could. They could. Yeah.
No, no. If they did, you could sue them like pretty hard, pretty fucking hard, for everything they own.
I mean, someone could say, "No, you're not qualified for this job," and in their mind, they're thinking about because she's a woman, she's gonna have children,
No, no, no,
and
no.
that's.
You see. That is again. That's the feminist narrative. Instead of taking the blame and thinking that the problem is
But
with
it could be.
no,
Couldn't it
no,
be?
no. It's you see, just because something can be, doesn't mean it's probable. Just because something can be doesn't mean it's probable. It's like the Heisenbergsche Unschärferelation. It's exactly that thing about how particles like atoms partially could exist there and there, like at two places at the same time, and how that would allow potentially it would be possible, wouldn't it, that we are everywhere, but only here because it's more probable for our atoms to be in this place. But we're actually everywhere, but it's more probable with like nearly 100% that we are where we are right now and all our atoms are where they are right now. You know? Just because something is probable, uh, possible, doesn't mean it's probable. Just because it could be that the employer is misogynist doesn't mean he automatically is in everything he does, or that most of them are, or that everyone is.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, but it could be. But just to make things something clear, that this is not my opinion. My opinion on this is that I don't really care when I get a note saying no, I don't want to take you because um you're not good enough for this job. I don't think he hates women. I don't think about that, and I don't really care if someone writes that to me, I accept it and try to make it somewhere else.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. But that is exactly how Milo is thinking. That is exactly what he was proposing. To you he may not be like on style as you would like him to be, but he is how he is. And if you take his words as we did, like at face value, and we analyze what he said and what the woman said opposing him, you are more in the specter of being in favor of Milo.
Yes, I just didn't like his arguments, I guess. Maybe his opinion, but I didn't like his arguments. You know what I mean?
Wait, wait. An opinion is made out of
Yeah,
arguments.
his
Presentation of them?
yeah, I didn't like the presentation. Yeah, that's I guess what you could say.
Did you like the presentation of the woman, though?
Um, More, yes,
Why?
because I agree with her that there should that she um wants more healthy bodies to be represented, and I didn't like that Milo said that unhealthy. I mean that having a fat body is unhealthy, and everyone who's fat is unhappy. That's just the things I didn't like because they were not true.
He no, these things again, they are true. He wasn't talking universally. He wasn't talking about every single person who is fat and saying that they are
Then he
unhappy.
has to say that. He didn't, but that's what he
No,
didn't say. He
no,
didn't say
no.
that.
That is exactly what he said. He said that the data, that the facts, that the experiments suggest, the data suggests these outcomes, and he just presented data. He was not out there talking about how diversity is a must in everything and we should police society to include diversity in everything, in every single thing until there is 50-50 in everything except for garbage collection and killing people and doing hard work. But the money, yes, the money has to be split fair. He wasn't saying that. The woman was basically. She was advocating. Okay, she was advocating for body standards, but the fact is, instead of body standards, she could the same point could be done for everything. Seriously, you know. And so, all right, you didn't like Milo's representation of how he was talking, I guess. But then again, this is kind of. Mm, 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 So, you
It wasn't right what he was saying, in my opinion. But
what wasn't right? The fact
like
that
I s-
the
like I
fact that
said,
the fact that fat people are more likely to be sad and depressed, and that women, because of lacking a standard and a role model, feel more depressed, and
he
that
didn't. I didn't think he used the word likely. He just said that they are unhappy and they're single most of the time, single and
yeah.
just as
Yeah, he said these things, but he said it with the same radical clarity as did the woman opposing him talk. Both of them were as radically clear as they could get. Both of them. And I think that's not a bad thing. I mean, if you want to be touchy for everything and get accountable for every single person, it's an endless discussion. You could be like, oh no, these people came in, now we have to account for them as well. Oh no. Just think about it. If we have male and female quotas, then later on people could come in with the same argument and be like, well, I have I don't know, I have six fingers or I have three eyes. Make a quota for me, please. I need that. Otherwise, I'm discriminated against. Then we would have just a free market full of quotas and shit, and that would be just terrible. Diversity does not mean healthy. Being fat doesn't mean healthy or unhappy. It's for Milo, it's like a byproduct. It's something that happens because because of not having a role model, because of having all these diversity things pushed on you, and you just don't know where to go, and you're like left with the idea that you are beautiful the way you are, and everything is perfect, and everyone else is shit. And that narrative gives people the freedom and the ground, the justification to go out there and be like, well, I am beautiful. You are not. You're not. You are unrealistic, even though the person is very much realistic.
That's not what she said, though.
That is what she said. If you are going to
That is
talk
that's
about
not what she
how
said.
if you are going to talk about how Milo talked about things and not, but still agree with what he was saying, see, that's the point. You criticize that he
That
was
wasn't. I don't agree on everything. I'm just agreeing that everyone should do what they want with their store. Have the mannequins that they want. I didn't agree on with the. I don't think that people have gotten unhappy after. I mean, females have become unhappy after the
but they
Second
did.
World War.
They did.
I
Otherwise, Milo
don't
wouldn't have
prove
said that. Otherwise, Milo
that's.
wouldn't have said that.
How do you? What? You can't. You don't know.
I know because Milo works as a journalist
So
and he
you
does a
trust
really
him,
good
but he
job
could
being
be
a good
wrong
journalist.
too. He could be wrong too,
No, he could
and
not. No,
maybe
no,
that's just his interpretation of the situation back then. That's not a fact.
no, it is a fact. Take it as face value. Take it at face value. Some people are unhappy and fat and single because they don't have a role model. Is that a thing you could agree on? Because they don't have a role model to strive towards, because they have been raised with the idea of diversity, with the idea of you are beautiful as the way you are, and society has to accept you. They have to accept you.
Well,
It's not like you have to
that
work
is
for it.
new.
Hmm?
The idea of actually that always has been that being slim is the ideal role model.
Yeah. Yeah, and that thing is um, going to be changed, and that I mean the position of a woman in, for example, a family, that a role model for a woman, the place of a woman has been just completely taken away and replaced with this entirely, it's a void. You are, instead of being told, here's the problem, okay, here's the problem. Instead of being told and giving a baseline, like, here is how a successful woman looks like, for example, an example, like a standard a successful woman, how she looks like and how she thinks. Let's take this person, and then we have new women who come in and they look at this person and they know exactly how to relate to her and what to change about themselves to be as successful. So they change them and they become successful, you know? And now, if you take away this role model, this baseline, and just give in the idea of a woman who is like just the mirror of yourself, you are left with nothing. You're left with nothing. You have nothing to relate to. Even worse, you're being told that you don't need to relate to anyone. You're wonderful as you are. Don't change is basically the message. But that is just wrong.
So you need role models, you
Yes, this is
say.
what I say. Yes, this is what I
So
say. This is
I
what
don't
Milo
know if
say. Yes.
someone is born without a leg
Mm-hmm.
and he can't change himself, but
Mm-hmm.
the role model would be maybe I don't know to be.
People need role models. Like, for
I know,
example,
but
that
that guy with no leg, it would destroy him because being like that would be not the ideal thing, and he would be depressed
no, no,
and.
no, no. You don't understand. You don't understand. It's I was talking about women and a female role model. If you go and talk about handicapped people, then they need to have handicapped idols, handicapped like people they would handicapped role models, basically, to emphasize, to give them guidance, to help them through hard times. And
So
this
you
is
would like to see handicapped
they
people, let's say,
exist.
get jobs that they would
No,
actually not be qualified for?
no, 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 no. What I mean is, if someone is handicapped, then it's better for that person to have a role model who is successful, who just like worked around his disability and made it work for himself, than to have no role model at all. This is what Milo was saying the entire time. This is what he said, that because of not having a role model, women have become over the years more and more miserable because of that, because people are more and more about self-loathing, but at the same time accepting how they are. That means that they are not, and like, it's not their fault that they are overweight. It's the society, it's everyone around them, everyone else is the problem, not the person itself. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You basically say, you demonize, you say that a role model is bad. Role models are bad. We no, 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 don't go with these role models. Let's enforce our views for like different people on other people's role models. This is what the mannequin thing is about, because there are people who are this size and who are this like proportion of body.
But there are people who are sick and are that's why are overweight, and there are people with bad metabolism who just
Yeah. Yeah,
gain
and these
weight
people,
more
and
easily.
yeah, and these people are not miserable if they have a role model. If they need a role model and there is one they can take, then they are not miserable. But the thing is with
But
women,
if they're not like their role model, then they will be miserable.
no, no, they can take the role model and apply their story to themselves as good as they want. It's
But
about,
like I said, people who are they can have a disease that makes them gain more weight. They will never
yes.
achieve that.
Yeah, but then again, this is the issue here. I am not talking about role models for people who don't have that disease. I'm talking about the person having that disease, like bad metabolism, taking a model that already exists and working towards this role model to be successful as their role model is. I'm talking about the fact that role models exist, and just cutting them out is creating more of a problem.
So it gives them kind of hope.
Yes, it gives them
But
hope, it gives them something as a
what if
break
somebody
point.
thinks a bit further and realizes they will never be able to be that way?
Then it's about motivation, because they have proof
But why
that
strive for something that you will never achieve?
no, you will achieve it because someone did it. Someone achieved it. What's your excuse to not achieve it?
But someone, I don't know, who has a disease that makes them gain weight, they will never be in a normal state. Or it will, I don't
Yeah,
know if it's
yeah,
not possible, but it
yeah,
will
yeah.
be
And
definitely.
then you just accept it. You have your role model, for example, one who has the diseases you do, the slow metabolism and stuff, and then you work around it. You take it at face value. You don't push other role models away and try to push your model
Well,
in place
that's
there.
not what she did. That was not. She was still saying that there can be slim mannequins, but just there should be larger mannequins too. That
And
so
they
it
are.
represents all
Yeah.
kinds.
No, and exactly that's the point. Representing all kinds, representation is there, but the larger group of people wants to see, and it's like a really specific topic. I hate feminism so fucking much because this is a really specific topic. It's about, like, if it's about art, displaying clothes, marketing, and body standards. It's like, yeah, make a clusterfuck out of it so no one can get out of it. You know, this is exactly what I hate so fucking much, because if we take every single part of it and look at it individually, we will come to the conclusion that clothes look better on better fitting models. And that means that if a big mannequin has a small piece of clothing on, it will look ridiculous. But if as ridiculous as a small mannequin having a big piece of clothing on, it will look just as ridiculous. This is what I mean. Small clothes for the standard body type that people make, like S, M, and L, and X and XL and stuff. All these sizes exist. Like what's the point of this woman? I don't understand it. She goes out and says, "Well, this mannequin fits the clothes it has perfectly and that offends me. I don't want to see this. I want to see more big mannequins with big clothes on." If you want big clothes, you can just go into the shop and buy the clothes in your size. They will look exactly as if they were small, but they will fit your size. What's your point? But no, it
Well,
offends
for
me. I
some
need
people,
diversity.
for some people, maybe it doesn't offend her that there is not enough diverse. I mean, I think it more offends her that there are people who are feeling like they are not okay, that it's bad the way they are.
Yeah, and this is why Milo said if
And
you
some
want to
people
work out, go to the
they don't.
gym.
Well, there are people who cannot work out and people who can't be, I guess, in a normal weight.
Yeah.
And some people, it's okay to be a little overweight. It's still there's a there's a body type that is still healthy, but overweight, but healthy. Yeah.
But I was talking just about the size of mannequins right now, and you would agree, right, that if you make something for a specific size of a mannequin, it's like with telephones and the cases for telephones. If you make a case for a specific phone, and someone comes up to you and says, "But this is not diverse enough. I want every case to be in every different size," even those who have no fucking sense, they make no sense. Make all of them because diversity. We have to cover everything. Everyone is a special snowflake.
Well, those
That's
are
my point.
phones.
You and I and everyone who is sane in their mind and not like a crazy third wave feminist realizes that if you want to achieve something, it's just in how you want. Like it's all in the way how you get it. Sure, there are people who have this disease, but putting other people down just to have that mannequin there is
Why are
not
they
going to
putting it
change anything.
down? She wasn't putting anyone down.
She wanted to have diversity, and diversity means that she is not counting what already is as diversity. Although she says that there are big mannequins, and for fuck's sake, we're
In
talking
other
about
countries.
clothing. We're talking about clothing. We're talking about
I
something
know it's
that yeah,
ridiculous. I
yeah,
wouldn't come up
you,
discussing this. It
yeah,
just
yeah,
I saw it and I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah. I'm still surprised why Milo Yiannopoulos just got into that discussion, though. Like, I'm fucking stunned by that because he just destroyed this stupid ass feminist. She was going for we need diversity, and he was like, "Well, actually, no, we need role models. Here's the data." The woman was like, "No, but we need that because people feel sad and they need this." And then he was like, "No, actually, science says different things, and I have proof. Where's your proof?" And talking about mannequins. The woman was talking about mannequins. She was talking about mannequins and unrealistic body types. Milo was talking about a bigger issue here. He was talking about the fact that women lost the role model partly because of feminism, because no, you don't get to like identify with the woman and being at home. No, that is bad, that is horrible, we should change this, and because of this, women's happiness got down and sank because they didn't have something to look up to and to compare themselves to because of this because of this neoliberal narrative of hey, everyone is wonderful the way they are and no one should ever change and society should just accept everyone. Well, guess what? Society accepts everyone who wants to be in the society. If you just want to be a part of it, but your idea is to change everything around it, then it's not the society you want to be part of. No, you can start your own one, but it's not that the society is bad. Society isn't bad. It worked out for so many people. Do you really think if society were bad, we would still be around in a society like this? If it were so bad as feminists say it is, would a lot of more people than feminists be in this society? Why are feminists, so it seems, the only people who see the misogyny, who see the patriarchy, who see the hate to women and to minorities?
It's not only the feminists.
Who
Other
else?
people. I don't know. I sometimes I think, but not always. I don't know. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
but I mean, this type of
Something
people.
I didn't think about yet.
But I mean, this type of people who would talk about mannequins rather than actual issues, you know, mannequins and how they look like. Because again, this is the thing. Like the reason why you didn't think of it, neither did I. Like that mannequins
But
could be
again,
offensive.
you think you know how people feel,
No,
but
I
I guess
don't think I
some
know how
people
people
really
feel.
feel. But
I,
you said that you if you gather enough information, you can judge people, and you're judging right now.
yeah, yeah. Yes, I am saying that how the information that I got shows these people. And there is nothing wrong with that because they are responsible for what they say and how they say it. I am not implying anything. I'm not interpreting what they say. I'm not twisting their words around. I'm taking it at face value, compiling it with the information I have about feminists in general over the years and different feminists, and just giving you the results of what I have so far. That's all I'm doing. So I'm not judging. I am telling that having diversity is not a good thing. Just pushing diversity on things isn't going to happen. I mean, the woman herself goes into the conversation thinking that diversity isn't there. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, but just based off the size of the mannequins. I'm lucky they weren't talking about the color of the mannequins. This is
That's probably the next step.
this is such an arbitrary thing to talk about. It's cherry picked just to fit a narrative how women are underrepresented in society. They are not. I mean, seriously, it's the same thing with gamers. People are like, no, we need more women in gaming because women who play video games need to have women to identify with them. That's necessary. Why are everywhere just men? Men are everywhere. Oh my God. We need more women in video games. Well, guess what? First of all, there are women in video games. Take all the Bioware games where you can decide your body, your skin, your face, your sexuality. You can relate to anyone in the freaking game. You can be a gay, you can be trans, you can be asexual, pansexual, anything you want. But these people are not taking these examples as fact. They are not. They don't care. Most of feminists who get asked, like who apply stuff to gaming, who push their agenda onto gaming, getting asked, well, what do they play? They just panic because, well, they are not gamers. They didn't do the research. You see? They want to push
Mhm.
their own agenda to stuff. And Milo sitting there and taking this feminist seriously just proves the point that Milo's arguments are more likely to be right and correct because he took her serious and he had facts on that matter instead of being like no, but this is my opinion, listen to me, this is my opinion, I am special, I am a snowflake, listen to me. you know he got to her on from face to face. He respected her opinion, although he was laughing at it, but still, it's still a dumbass opinion, though, to push for diversity in a place where diversity has to be earned. There is diversity out there. I mean, you are not prohibited being a black woman to get in a shop and buy what you want. You're not prohibited from that. You're
Mhm.
not discriminated against. I mean, seriously, if you go down and you shop for stuff, does it really matter what size the mannequin is in the storefront?
You may think it doesn't matter, but it could matter to some people. Maybe it even matters to me, and I'm just not aware of it.
Yeah, but now you're making the argument that to some people it may matter. To some people, to some, maybe, eventually, someday. Then these people, what's better for society? To have think of it that way, okay? Think of it that way that feminists, third wave feminists has nothing to cry about. Nothing. They create their own problems, intersectionality, mannequins and storefronts, sexual,
I wouldn't
sexist.
mannequins. I wouldn't say that it's third wave
No,
feminism
it's a first
yet.
wave. It's a first world problem. It's not feminism in the
Yes,
sense of pushing for rights of women. It's about this thing exists. I don't like it. Change it. You see how fascist that is? You see, like the parallel to what Nazi Germany was doing, or Nazi Italy. I don't like this. Change this. Or how ISIS is like that. Islam is like that. I don't like this. Change this.
but they're not doing the same. Then they still want slim mannequins. It's not fascist. I think they want just everything,
Um,
everything represented.
the thing with logic is that if you just change the subject and the phrasing still comes out the same, then it's most likely to be like comparable to the thing you compare it to. So again, I run this by you and tell you that uh, just take, instead of mannequins, like we have too many mannequins of a specific size. I don't like this. Change this. This argument of I don't like this, change this, is really dominant with feminists. Now just apply it and let's see where it fits in history as well. Well, segregation of blacks and whites in America. I don't like blacks. Sit them down way in the last row of the bus. Or I don't like Italians. Segregate them in a ghetto. I don't like Mexicans. Let's close the border. I don't like this. Let's do that. You see, that is fascist.
But nobody's coming to harm
No,
in
no, 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 no.
if they add more bigger mannequins. If you say I don't like black people sitting in a bus, that harms people.
Um, that may seem small to you, and that is small. That's why I said it's like a first world problem, having multiple different mannequins. But that, because it's fucking mannequins, that's the freaking point that drives me crazy. It's mannequins. It's about marketing. You are now at the front of marketing, and marketing works different from like human to human relation. It's not that people put these mannequins there to offend others. That's the point. It's not that the feminist would paint it that way, that the shops know that they are doing this, and they know that it's not cool with some people, but they still do it, so we have to change it. That is basically her narrative. But at the same time, she just ignores that it's a free market. And her solution would be to create someone who goes out and regulates this. But it's not right. If people want to buy or don't even care, mostly, about mannequins, it's, you see that that's the part, that's the point. Her arguments are about minorities, about small groups of people that are like really small but still exist, and they should be represented in the storefront. At the same time, though, she talks about mannequins in a financial way, in like shops and economy and stuff, meaning that if people were to be regulated, this would be a fascist thing to do. It would be a fascist thing to do. Because you see, free market works like this. If people want to spend their money on something, they will spend their money on something. If people are offended or don't want to spend money on something, they don't. And this factor itself regulates how the shops look like, how sales are done, how marketing works, how PR works. Everything is built around this. You cater to people with your product because you want people to buy it. If you take people who are not interested in buying this product and then go out and start bitching about how basically the entire shop is just shit, it destroys the economy of the shop because someone got offended. And this is why, instead of saying, hey, this is a minority, let's include them in, people should like deal with it. Deal with it, you know? If it really were so bad, as the woman is saying that, if it really were so bad, why aren't the mannequins already changed? Maybe it's because that like a lot of people don't give a shit because it's a mannequin. But she apparently does. It's apparently so important for her because it's a mannequin. Oh my god, it's misrepresenting women. We need different mannequins. Let's do this. Sure, if you want, make a shop, buy mannequins, do it. See, like if your strategy is better, prove it. Don't go out and enforce it on others. No one's pushing her down and telling her not to open a shop. That woman has all the right to open a business as anyone else. And but yeah, she has all the same rights. Why is she, instead of going out and proving that having a variety of mannequins in the storefront helps and gives better things more money out of it, you know what I mean, like generates more money. Like if it were true that diversity in storefronts of mannequins would give more money out, then why isn't she just opening a shop and proving it? Why does she want
Hmm.
others to take her position? If
But
you
that's not what she thinks. She doesn't think that it would give more money. She says it just would make people feel better about who they are, their
yeah
bodies.
yeah and
And I guess there is a role model in today's. They still have a role model. It's to be thin and healthy. That thin equals healthy, and that fat is just bad. And everyone who's fat
no, that is not the role
should change.
model. That is not the role model. I- Again, you are talking about socio. That's not even socio-political anymore. That's socio-economic factors. You know how ridiculous that sounds? Socio-economic factors. These two parts are really hard to mix together because socio parts would mean, well, everyone gets everything, but economy means you get what you want. But that's the point. Some people don't want some things that exist, and that would mean what? That this thing should be taken down, and everyone who wants this thing, what should they do? They are then being discriminated. You know, and this is exactly what I mean. If this woman says that different sized mannequins make more people happy, then please open a shop, put in mannequins, and show me your salary at the end of a year. Compare it to other places that don't have different mannequins, and if you get like 50 or 80% increase in sales, then you probably could say it's because of the mannequins. If this is like if this is the only factor, but there are multiple other factors, and she won't make that money. She won't make an increase of money to prove her point. Milo, on the other hand, knows this. He knows how ridiculous the discussion about mannequins is, and he just goes straight to the point and says, well, women are unhappy nowadays because they lost their role model. Because the role model is, as the woman was saying, be yourself. You are beautiful, just the way you are. Amazing.
No, that is not the case. That's not the role model. The role model is to be thin, and that fat is bad and unhealthy.
No, it's not. Being fat
I
is
guess
not.
the role model of today is more of a matter of opinion and not a fact.
No, the role model today is you, as before, you cater to a specific group of people. And if some other group of people comes along and starts crying that they are not included, well, boo hoo, guess what? It was more likely to sell, for example, sports stuff to people who do sport. So we're gonna represent people who are sportly, like physically active in our campaign. because it's more likely to give us money because these people are the ones who would want to buy the product rather than catering to everyone. Let's sell a jersey for people who run, or let's sell a deodorant for people who run. So like this like gets activated and stuff. Have you like never asked yourself why you don't see fat people in sport commercials? Never. Guess what? It's because
because no one associates. Yeah,
no, it's not because no one associates it. It's because people who do sport and are physically active look a certain way because they're physically active. It shapes their body. And it's more likely that these people will buy the product that you want to
you can
sell.
work out and still be fat.
Okay,
You can
what?
work out and still be fat. You can work out and still be fat. You can own sports clothes and try to work out and still be
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah, but this is a small group of people. Markets don't work to cater to a small group of people. They want to to get the most money out so that they can invest this money later
Yeah, I
on
know.
into the market. If everyone went off to fringe groups, we would have shops that would be, well, you know what? You are a white woman, but I see that you have like two legs. No, sorry, there's like nothing here for you. Maybe try this store like further down the road because this is the store for like one-legged women. I'm sorry, but no, this is how it works now. Diversity, you know. This is how basically shop owners would talk if diversity was a real thing. Oh no no no. We don't cater to like 90% of the population. No 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 no. We don't cater to that. No, sorry. No. 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 We don't know what we were thinking opening this shop. I don't even know how we can still be around. What the purpose here is if we just like go for the 2%. But hey, you know what? It's like we get sometimes some money, so it's cool. Of course, it's not as cool as the shop that serves the big group of people that exists in this country and sells them stuff. But yeah, we serve the little man. We serve the 2%. Yes, this is the 2% shop for the fat people who like can't get thin, but they still work out. We also own a chain of shops like for the for tall midgets or for short giants. All these shops exist. Yes. Diversity is really important to us. Financial stability, not so much. We constantly change location and basically we have to move now again because our space is getting closed off because we don't make any money. But we're diverse, We're diverse. Diversity. See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't force it on anyone. I
Well,
agree with
that's
you. You
what the
should
woman does.
if she yeah, no, I don't want that. If she should open up a shop then on her own.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to have skinny mannequins, they can do that.
Or if she like
I don't care.
necessarily, not necessarily like open her own shop, but she herself dismantles her argument saying that in a different country there is a shop that does this. It just means, well, yeah, there is a shop that does this. Great. Um, Good. What now? What now? You just destroyed your own argument saying that there are no shops that do this, but then you saw one and you're like, well,
She
not
means
really
in the
changed.
States. In the
Hmm?
States. She means in the States.
Hmm. If
And
you don't want to shop in a shop that has mannequins that don't represent your body size, either open your own shop, make it successful, make people see that this is what people want, and they will buy it. Or just shop at the place where you see fit. Don't enforce mannequins to be changed for people who just don't need that. Like seriously, come on. What the hell?
yeah, I agree with that.
They
But
could be
I just
talking
don't agree
they could be
with the
talking
idol
about
that I
the
mean
yeah.
I don't agree with the role model that they've lost their role model and everyone's unhappy since World War II. I don't agree with that.
But
That's all I don't agree with,
but
I
but
guess. But yeah,
but
everyone should do what they want with their shop. Yes.
yeah. That is how free market works, and this is what Milo was saying all along. That is what he meant. And back to the argument that like still like is not cool for you, that women got more depressed after World War II. Think about it this way: if you had a good friend you looked up to, like a good friend that you know for from childhood, but then suddenly that person moved away, just really far away. You have nothing left of him. Everything you had, like no pictures, nothing, just the person you had with your entire life. You looked up to him, and he looked up to you, and you had a good friendship, and it was cool and nice. And then someone came and just moved the person away, like a family, like moving off, and you were left with a void, basically. What would you do? Would you go out and just be yourself and live for yourself? Or would you still like to have someone like the person that left you?
Hmm.
Because now here comes the funny part. It doesn't matter what you answer. It doesn't matter. Because if you say that you need a role model, I would say, no, come on, your role model is not that person. No, 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 no. You are your own role model. You are the special snowflake. Don't let anyone tell you anything else. You are wonderful as you are. You don't need people who like are socially acceptable. Be that slob that you want to be. Don't wash yourself. It's fine. You're a special snowflake. You're cool. You're cool. You're special that way. Like giving people trophies for trying, just like giving stars to people in school for just
But
you
that's not what
tried.
she was saying. That was
No,
not
no,
what
wait, 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 wait. And if you were to say no, you don't need any role model, then I would say again, you would still be sad about it. That you would just basically succumb to how you would see yourself without having any guideline, any guidance. And people also, like, if people were asking me about how I want to be like someone, for example, like who's your role model? People were asking me. Do you know this question? Like, did people ask you
Mm,
that?
yeah,
I
yeah.
I usually say, well, I'm my own role model. I don't think that anyone else is wonderful, and I don't think that I'm wonderful, and that makes me a good role model. I learn from myself and learn from others, but saying that someone else is my role model would just glorify them, and well, I don't need anyone. So, but still, I know different people who I aspire to, who I like to be like. For example, Milo. I would much rather have the clarity and the facts as Milo does and many others than to be vague as that feminist. I would much rather be clear in data and debatable than being like from top to down and saying things how they are. Like, this is how things are. Just take it at face value. Ignore all the facts. There are no facts here. No, you know. He's not my role model, but in a way he is. Like, I don't take him like completely. It would be dumb. It would be fanaticism to take him like perfectly as I think he would be. This is taking way too long. But what I mean is that people need role models. If people don't have role models, they lose themselves. Even someone to look up to. It doesn't matter if you get raised by two fathers. It doesn't matter if you are raised by two mothers. It doesn't change anything if you're raised by a woman and a man. It doesn't change anything actually if you're an orphan, because being an orphan, you still have people around you. You still have the orphanage. Basically, it's a shitty place to be, but hey, you could get adopted, and then again, you could have in the orphanage, you could have people and friends who you could look up to. Then later on in life, television, news, media, science fiction, books, games, all this stuff is giving people someone or partially someone to look forward to, like to look up to. And the only people who will like really, really suck are the ones who are left with their own, with themselves as their own role model, because it's not going anywhere. It's like if you get fatter and fatter and dirtier and dirtier, you would still think, because you don't have any role model, uh, you would think, yeah, well, that's how I look. And but then look out the window and see how people look like, see the
Well,
difference and be sad.
who decides what's the right role model?
Now we're
Who,
back at the economic aspect of it, right?
I guess.
Well,
But
who
it's actually
decides it?
social.
Hmm?
It's actually a social thing, not an economic thing.
Mm-mm. Um, Economics works as good as social stuff. So if you want, for example, your shop to be successful, make it successful. Like build it to be successful. If you want your opinion to be successful, make it and phrase it to be successful. It's really similar. Like shops compete to one another, against one another, and so
I'm not
do
talking about
opinions.
success, I'm just talking about the right thing more.
So please explain the right thing.
Um, I don't know what the right thing is. It's just that the people, or
Society dictates it. Society
yeah,
dictates
but it doesn't
what's a
mean
role
that it's
model.
right. It doesn't
No,
mean
it
that it's
means that
right.
it means that through process of elimination, through essentially evolution in society, where an idea comes up, and if a lot of people take it serious, it gets shown to more people, and if they take it serious, it gets shown to more people, and so on. This is how role models happen. This is how role models happen. If you see someone on television, if you see someone on the news, this person is more likely to be a role model than if you don't see someone on television, like just someone in your head, you know. And society decides who is worthy or unworthy of being a role model. People decide themselves, and as a collective mind, then decide who is a role model. You yourself are a part of the collective mind. You decide as well who is a role model for you. See?
Hmm.
You decide your own role models. But this is exactly the point. You need role models. You need them to have guidance, to have someone when you face really bad times. And I don't mean like your shirt is dirty, I mean like you want to kill yourself.
But
If
I
you are
guess
left
that's
with
what she
yourself,
wants to do to women. She wants to give more role options of having a role model. Maybe she's just trying to demand it and not work for it, which is wrong, I guess. Oh yeah, yeah, it is wrong. You should work for it. I agree with you on that. But all she's trying to do is have a different role model represented.
if you want to have a different role model, it doesn't mean that you have to change something where people take their role model from. It's like imagine if
She's
people
not really.
no
She's not
mhm.
changing it totally like so that other people can't have that role model anymore. She just wants to add another one.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. You don't have to add it; it's already added. People already have models that like fucking mannequins again.
But she's
Oh,
talking about America. She's talking that it's not represented in America
America.
that much. America, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? America is a free market, and guess what that means? Either people don't care, or they just, I don't know, don't take mannequins that serious, but that's like they don't care. She
But
herself is
some
the
people
one
can really
taking it
have an
serious.
effect. I get that.
Yeah, and that's the
It can have
point.
a
And that's the
can
point.
make teenagers feel depressed or like then it's wrong the way they are, even though they may be. There's some dramatic, they're really skinny mannequins,
Uh,
and
y-
that's not usually the mannequins. That's not average. It's like
Sasha, Sasha,
what?
we are back to mannequins.
I know.
And we are back to the point of you looking at it from a social point, and I'm looking at it from a point of economics. If mannequins are your beauty standard, then your beauty standards are fucked up. If you think that your body has to look like a mannequin, then you clearly don't get the idea of a mannequin. You're not supposed to have the same body shape.
Then
You're
what is
supposed to
the
look at the
purpose
clothes
of
and
a mannequin? What is the
yeah,
purpose of a
yeah. The purpose of a
mannequin?
mannequin is the same as the purpose of a coat hanger. You don't look at a coat hanger and be like, wow, that's unrealistic for the shoulders of some person. Wow, that's unrealistic. No, you look at it and you say, wow, these clothes look good on this shoulder thing. I think I should buy the clothes. This is the same purpose for mannequins. They
Then why
display.
don't you just use a hanger?
Most of them do, though, if you walk into a store. But then again, like logistically speaking, like why people don't use coat hangers in the storefront, you mean? That's what you mean?
Yeah.
I could imagine.
I mean, I
No,
know that it
no,
look.
it's
I
being
get it.
used. It looks ridiculous. It looks like a ghost. It like a sheet on this piece of like on a rope, like a piece of sheet on a rope. That's how it looks. It would look like horrible. It wouldn't have the same effect as wow, look at this shiny coat. It would be like look at this shitty crammed up coat that's just hanging there. Fuck, I don't want to buy this. You know, you shouldn't look at mannequins and go, wow, this is exactly my beauty, my body. Exactly, this is how I am. Wow, this shirt relates to me. It knows how I feel. No.
Well, some people are that stupid and think that.
Well, then exactly why should we change society to pander to stupid people? Because pandering to stupid people won't give you good results. I mean, I would understand if the majority of people were stupid people, but they're not. They're not. This woman talking about mannequins is a representative of a fringe group of people getting offended by mannequins. Seriously, it's exactly the same with women in video games. People get offended because a woman is not in a game. But then again, there are people who are like, well, if you tag your game with has a woman, or like if you put a woman in a game and tag it that way, it sure feels like you're trying too hard. So what now? Don't put in a woman in a video game because we're trying too hard. But at the same time, you scream at us and demand women in video games to be like positioned and placed and visible and get more like out into the world. You like that. God damn it. The same goes for mannequins. God
Yeah.
damn it, we're talking about stupid ass mannequins. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's actually really stupid. But
Milo did a way better point in that video than the woman sitting across him. He made way better arguments. He focused on way more important topics than just stupid ass mannequins. Oh, look at this mannequin. Its arm is too big. Its waist is not like perfect. What next? The color of the mannequin, the size of the hand of the mannequin. If we start with that, let's go out and be like, well, this mannequin is shorter than I am. This is unrealistic. It's fucking not. It's fucking not. It's not unrealistic if it doesn't represent you. It just represents other people. You see,
yeah, yeah.
the
Well, I
big.
guess I can't really agree 100% with either of them.
Okay, okay. But the key part with the feminist in that video was that she was talking about people needing more diversity as if it was some kind of thing that only she could give. That is, it's something that has to be done, and it's like the cure for everything. More diversity. We need more diversity. Milo was talking about it from a standpoint of, um, yeah, sure, but what exactly would be the consequences of this? why should we have this? I mean, look, we have like data and like real like science and proof that women get unhappy and unhappy more and more and more. So do you think that diversity would help that? No, it wouldn't. You would like to look at a nice looking body. Sure, it's about how the perception of people is, but the majority of people, and for the economy and the market, there's nothing more important than the majority because they can sell them shit. For the majority of people, beauty standards are either completely unimportant when it comes to mannequins, or they prefer slimmer mannequins. I mean, would you really think looking at a storefront, going like, "Wow, this mannequin is 800 pounds. I should buy this T-shirt. Wow, wow, this looks so good. Oh, give me this." No,
I know,
no.
but if you look at little kids, for example, and they see like that they're not as skinny as their mannequins, and it could mess them up. It
Then
could,
the kid is fucked up because it's comparing itself seriously to a mannequin.
but children do that. So
Yeah,
isn't that
and it's
actually
yeah, and it's fine. It's fine if children do that. It's more important to say, as a parent to the child, that this is just a mannequin. This is not your body.
what if the parent had that was thinking like that as a child too, and their parents didn't tell them that, and
Well, now we are going deeper into specifics, like seriously. Come on, Sasha. Come on. Come on.
I know, but
This
it
can
is
go on and
true.
on and
God
on.
damn it!
This can go on and
I
on and on.
know, I
My next
know,
argument
I
would
know,
be
and
my next argument would be, well, if this is a good strategy to compare yourself to mannequins, then why haven't we been doing this earlier? Why not? Why? 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 Why?
I
So,
don't
so
know.
uh,
Maybe we should just it's a stupid topic, mannequins.
you brought it up.
I know, but because what do you me off, and I still don't agree with what he said. All
You know what?
everything with all
You
everything,
also
but
like you jump to conclusions as well, though, because you, from what I know, have seen just this one video.
yeah, I know, I know.
Maybe you should see like multiple different ones. Maybe he just had a bad day. I'm
Well, I'm
not
not.
ruling that out.
Yeah, maybe. How long have we been talking about this shit?
I don't know.
Oh my.
We have one viewer. Hello, one viewer. Wie geht es dir? One viewer.
Hello.
One viewer. We had temporarily, we had like two viewers. That was fun.
Ooh.
Getting famous. All right. Uh, do you want to mow the lawn now?
No, I think it's dark already.
All right.
So we. This took longer than expected. Is this 2 hours? I don't know.
Well, we can have a podcast up to 8 hours.
Oh, so we still have 6 more hours to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Should we continue with mannequins again? No.
The mannequins. Look at the mannequins. Look at all the stupid mannequins. Mannequins.
No, but I really wouldn't have never thought about that. I guess
Yeah, and
maybe
this
in
is
my
exactly.
subconscious, I would maybe have something, but I don't know.
But I personally, um, if I get shown, for example, like mannequins that are closer to my body proportion, I would think, yeah, this clothes thing looks cool on this body. I wouldn't go like, oh my god, why is this body there? It should be bigger because it's unrealistic. Oh no. Realism is such a stupid wide term to be just narrowed down up to this is not what I like, change it. This is essentially what she was saying. I don't like it, change it.
Well, I think personally, it does kind of affect me. But
How?
I know that because if I look at, I don't know, mannequins, I see, oh, I'm like nothing like that. Oh shit, should
Yeah.
change
No,
probably.
no, what the fuck? Why
But
are
I
you
know, but
comparing your beauty standards to
yeah,
mannequins?
yeah. Well, because those mannequins, the clothes that they're wearing, some people do fit in those clothes, and then you
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
well, there's something wrong with me. Why am I seeing this
Yeah.
everywhere? And
Yeah, and
but
this
I
is
know that it's
okay.
not. I know to think that it's not the way it's that I don't have to be like that. And
No, no, that's the point. That's the point. That's exactly what I mean. It's the idea that people would see this, but what the feminists wanted to prevent by having diversity, though, is that people would see a mannequin and go, "Well, I'm not like that. There must be a problem with me." You know, this is like half of a conclusion that these people make. The observation is, I am not like this mannequin. What you do with it is completely up to you. It's just a mannequin. There are some people out there who are having this type of body, and it's okay. Or there are this kinds of people out there who don't care about mannequins. They don't go into a store because they like have pretty mannequins. They go because they need stuff from there. Often people go into stores because the mannequins don't have the stuff on that they want to buy. They just like, I want to go into the shop for boxers. Like, have you seen mannequins that wear boxers except for if you like a shop explicitly for boxers, like underwear? No, right? So the observation is, my body is not like the mannequin's body, and everything else that comes after this point is a conclusion, is an analysis of the first thought, like yours being something must be wrong with me. This is one conclusion you could make. Another one is, it's a stupid mannequin. I look at the
but they're
clothes.
wearing clothes that people are actually wearing, so
Yeah, yeah, why is this messing with your head?
I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Why is it messing with your head?
I don't know. It is. It just is.
Why?
I
God
don't
damn it,
know.
why? I would
I
come to
don't
the
know.
conclusion. I would come to the conclusion. Well, I would like to have that body as the mannequin, and I'm gonna train for that body as the mannequin. Or
But you're
if
okay the way you are. So, but some
no, I
people
it's
obsess
so
about it and get depressed because, like I said, there are people who can't never achieve that because
see
some
that's the
health
point.
issues or
Okay, there's another point I haven't talked about yet, and it's exactly that. People always say that it's okay the way you are. It's okay to feel no, like if you feel bad, it's nothing to feel bad about. I hate this kind of narrative. How about saying to people, it's also okay if you feel bad? It doesn't mean that society is bad. It may be hinting you at something that you would like to be, and maybe you should try to be more like that. Like just have a compromise. Compromise. Like, why do you like would want to throw that away? What would that give you? You clearly being some kind of emotionally uh, touched by what you see. Why not just follow through with it and make something positive for yourself out of it? Why not take the thing you hate and then adapt to it? Why would you need to be like still continue being the wonderful way that you are? That is a different conclusion that most feminists don't even talk about. They're like, no, 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 you're beautiful the way you are. Society has to change itself. Let's change society for diversity. And I'm like, well, if you feel like it, you can always like work out, find a way to look like this. Just don't make it into an just don't be unhealthy. Like, don't have an obsession with it, you know. But even then I would be like, it's fine if that's what you want to do. Just be conscious about it, because it's your own decision. I wouldn't go out and be like, I need more diversity because some people may be offended or some people may get the wrong idea. I would much rather give people the wrong idea and then educate them or give them a point where they would start to think for themselves and decide and train that, because this is more important than mannequins in a store. I would much rather talk about controversial things that have nothing to do with mannequins than to just tell everyone how beautiful and wonderful they are. And like, thank you for trying. Oh, you are so nice. No, you're nice. You're nice. You're nice. You know what I mean? Like this niciness. People don't learn from niciness. People learn from stressful situations. And if you tell people that they are beautiful as the way they are, and everyone else around them has to change in a stressful situation, these people will just criticize and scream and cry because no, I am beautiful. I am a special snowflake. You don't get to criticize me. You know my name, not my story. You can't refer to me because you never lived my life. Uh, they will distance themselves from themselves, thinking that they would like stand above things, but they would just fuck themselves up.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
I need time to think about all this again.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That's the thing. That's the thing. Because you should be able and you are able to decide what you want.
I have to think about this again, and I'll get back to you.
Hmm. So, are we done?
I think we are, because I have to pee so badly.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye, people. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you for listening to us about talking about
Yeah,
mannequins.
probably like no one will listen to the whole thing. So I can say like really bad things. You can also do like really bad things. Come on, say something bad.
Um, I like sniffing my farts. What?